Welcome to our show. Like we do every week, we're going to have 4 amazing business questions, 3 for each levels of business, 1 personal. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Executive Insights,
the most informative stream for aspiring and growing entrepreneurs.
I'm the CEO of VaseTime, as well as the founder of VaseTime Foundation, Gervais Nelson. I have the honor of sharing an amazing space with my amazing guests or my amazing co-hosts.
Hey y'all, I'm Marie Rose, CEO of Rosebud Studios and founder and president of Rose Petals to Success.
This week's questions are about overcoming challenge and change.
Please remember, everything we're about to say is general advice shared from our actual experiences and research. And even though you can relate to some of the information, we want to make sure that the information actually applies to your business. So feel free to reach out to one of us, either myself or Gervais, to schedule a one-on-one so we can make sure the advice is for you.
With that said, feel free to drop your comments, drop your likes, drop your share, and of course, be sure to subscribe. With that said, we're going to share our executive insight. So question number 1, we're going to get right into it. What's one fear or self-doubt you had to overcome before launching your business, and how did you move past it? Love that question.
For me, I have to say that it was the fear that people would not understand, or the fear that I would be rejected. And the way that I had to get over that, or what I did to get over it, was to keep repeating it. Depending on how the reaction was from that audience that I shared it with, I just did it differently the next time. There's no limit to how many times you're gonna say your pitch or explain your business. You learn from every experience. So every experience, still to this day, I learn a different way to pitch it. And every audience is different. So I learned to feel the audience or feel who I'm speaking to first before I speak, so that I know how I'm addressing this. I don't want to address it to a room of people who are just starting in business and I'm speaking to them about profit and loss and building social equity and all of these other things and using these words where they're like, what is she talking about? And it seems impossible to reach. The same way I don't want to talk to a person who's been in business for 30-something years, already past that step, and I'm talking about how to utilize your LLC, or right. Do you have an LLC, or what is your bookkeeping, because they should be past that. So being able to feel who you're speaking to and address yourself in that manner, speak to them in that manner.
That was a good one. I probably was going to go with that, but let me see. Fear of debt was probably my biggest one. I'm really, again, a numbers person. I'm really number oriented. I have I like to plan things out carefully. So one of my biggest things was the fear of debt, taking on more than I can handle, or being in a situation where I'm now suffering as a result of it on the back end. So how I overcame it, I really wrote my plan out really well as I could. Thankfully, everything did fall into place the way it was supposed to. Mm-hmm. Doesn't always happen. I took low risk, very calculated, and when I was time to take high risk, I took very high risk, high reward type of steps. That was my fear and how I overcame it. Like, okay, if I do this right, if I plan for it, I can kind of get past it and keep moving and making money in this, and this is actually for me. Can you share a time early in your journey when a plan completely failed and how you pivoted to recover? A time for me was I did social media ads, and I invested in it. I thought it would be like the thing, like, all right, you know what? I see these ads flowing. You may see it on your feeds when you're scrolling. It'll say sponsored by. And I thought, okay, if I put the money in, I did the targeting and everything. I did everything I was supposed to do. I even got them to help with the algorithm and everything. And it got the views. It did really well with the notoriety, and it got out there with that, but it didn't bring in any money. And I took a big loss there. I noticed that the views. So I noticed the views was there. I noticed the notoriety was there. Mm-hmm. So what I did was I went back with that same format, and I understood, all right, you know what? When I do these type marketing type ads and stuff, I'm going to promote the success of what I've been able to accomplish. The only thing that I'll boost now, or the only things that I'll market now, is after we win an award. We win like the Philly's Best. We won the Philly Fave. We got the Landscape of the Year and things like that. So when I start winning those awards, I start pushing the awards and push it with the website.
Okay.
People will not necessarily, for me in the service industry, they weren't really buying the service, but they understood if this person is the best at what they're doing and I need that service, I'm going to be more likely to work with that person who's accomplished in that field. Mm-hmm. So I promoted not the service, but the success of what we do.
So that's really a good way to look at it, because people love to jump on bandwagons, right?
I ain't gonna put my
So if you are, I don't even think you would really need to boost that, because whenever you post something like that, people tend to share it. They tend to comment on it, which automatically gives you that boost, because they just want to be the one to say or get you to see that they shared it, to acknowledge them. Right? So that's really interesting. I opened up and started business with events in 2019. So in 2019, we also had 2020 with everything shut down. And that time, 2019, I opened up. I had already had 2 buildings because one of them got shut down 6 months after I started. So it took me into the December of 2019 going into 2020. And I only had about 3 or 4 months before I was completely shut down. The way that I pivoted, because event spaces were targeted at that point. That's the space of gathering. Y'all can't have it. So I pivoted and I opened up a virtual gym. I opened up virtual parties. I opened up virtual drop-off decor boxes. So nobody's going to stop having birthday parties. They just having it over Zoom. So I'll give you a Spider-Man box, which will include your Spider-Man tablecloths, your balloons, your forks, your place settings. And now you take this box and you decorate your table on Zoom and you have a birthday party. It was party on the go. So I had to finagle and work my way around to make it work. But I was creative and I pivoted in a way that I could still come back, and I kept my name relevant. Failing was really not an option. There's no plan B, C, or D. My plan is A, and so I had to successfully push this plan through.
Question number 3, this is for our established business owners looking to scale, looking for some longevity, maybe you're just looking to shake things up a little bit. What major change in your industry or company forced you to adapt, and what lasting lesson did it teach you?
Okay, so exactly what I just said.
Yeah,
So, because I had to read it again to understand. It taught me so many things that I had to put in place for situations like this to happen again. How many years did we go by not knowing if we would be shut down again? And the lack of support we really got. You had to fight for the support. And even when the support came, you didn't trust it. The business owners, the business, the CEOs didn't trust it. Other people trusted it. So it's like we created ways to survive and put things in place like risk management to make sure that we would still be successful no matter what pandemic or crisis came at us again. No, you can't be prepared for everything, but it definitely prepared me to overcome, because now I've seen my potential in a way I've never seen it. Being told maybe this ain't the thing for me, but in my vision I saw me retiring. So I had to figure out a way to make it work, and I adapted to that.
We have so many similarities. I started in 18 too, and then 20, like you said, it was that time when you doubted yourself the most. You wasn't really sure which way it was going to go. But out of that year, I probably had my best year. And it was like, well, if I can make it through this, if I really, really lock in and overcome that, I'm about to make a killing with this thing. So that's dope. For I guess staying on that same thing with the economic right now, in the turn of having the best year in 2020, put the systems in place, had a good turn. Everything was great. Then everything was being funded, money was good, everything was coming in. But right now under this administration, there's a lot of financial grants being pulled. There's a lot of federal grants being pulled, state grants being pulled. So I just got into, I'm kind of piggybacking a little bit. I just got into commercial space. But now all the federal grants are being pulled, state grants are being pulled. And a lot of that money that was there, or a lot of opportunity that was there, people are going back to holding it close to themselves again. So now it's all being built on those relationships that I was able to build. I actually got a call this morning from somebody that I built a relationship with last year, and I was shocked because I was like, you didn't have to call me. You know what I mean? But it was like, all right, cool, I'll take it. Great, fantastic. But I noticed under this administration how I'm being affected is opportunities are lessening. The residential, on the commercial side, the residential side, people aren't really sure where their money's coming in. So a lot of people are being a lot more hesitant to spend right now. What that's forcing me to do is kind of what I had to do in COVID all over again. So this is like the part 2 of that part, which is diversification. You got to be diverse. You have to come up with new services. You have to come up with new things that's going to keep. like you said, you can't fail. There is no B, there's no option C. This is only it. This is all I got. So, you know, the chips is on the table. I got to go all in. I came up with ways with, I think I said it a few weeks ago, with the flex payments. That was something I put in place during COVID. It is making a difference because the same people that I am getting, and they're hesitant about the financial aspect of it, it's like, well, don't worry about it. We can finance it. And if it makes you feel uncertain, cool, we're still good. So I'm still getting the 5-year contracts, the 3-year contracts, 2-year contracts. Is maybe not the one lump payment, but it's broken up over now the financial payment plans options. Where people probably were taking the split payment 6 months, they may be taking 3 and 4 months now. And that's okay, because I just still see it in my cash flow and it's all out there, and I'm like, all right, well, cool, we still got it. Let's load up the pipeline and keep going. But that's one of those things where, you know, that was definitely a challenge. It is a challenge. I don't want to say it is not. It's currently a challenge, and that's just how I'm dealing with it based on the lessons learned from the past. This is our bonus question, our personal question. This is probably my favorite question of all the questions, because I think this is the one that gives us that moment of transparency. This is like that personal question for the business owner, like, who are you as a business owner at night? Like, what don't you get to see the business owner? Like, what goes on the personal side of the business owner?
Okay.
All right. What personal habits or mindset shifts help you stay grounded during moments of chaos or uncertainty? Running is the only thing that I think keeps me grounded. Hiking, being in the nature, going for walks, isolating myself. That we were talking about the solo trips earlier. Just being by myself. I don't like to, I think when you're around other people, sometimes you compound your problems with their emotions. So I like to separate myself. I like to isolate myself. I like to run and speak to myself in a sense, but I speak out to the spiritual realm. And it's like, I don't really dwell on the problems. I really like to worry about the answers. Problems gonna come all day. It's one thing you're gonna learn in entrepreneurship. The problems don't stop. You could be the most prepared. You could be the most qualified. You could have the smoothest running ship. You could have the best team. You could have the best product. Problems are inevitable. What's going to separate you or make you not lose sleep at night is how well you can solve those problems. So for me, the walks, the hikes, the runs, and the solutions just pour into me nonstop when I do that. I have all my problems. I have my phone. I jot it down. I'm thinking about it, and by the time I come home, all my problems are solved. And it's just the thing that no matter how chaotic things are, by the time I come in from that 1 hour, 2 hour, however long, I'm good.
Because I love, like, I never understood that people talk about, like, how people need to be near the water to recharge, because I'm not a water person. I don't swim at all. So, but when I get near the water, I always feel refreshed. And I never understood through entrepreneurship, it got worse to the point where every 5 months, 4 to 5 months, literally, I began to lose my mind and say, I need to go on vacation. And vacation to me is always near a beach. And I'm like, where is the connection? So now, this year, I always go on vacation, that's the thing. But this year in between, now I sleep with YouTube on natural sounds. And I went from watching the ocean with my kids since they were little, because they used to fall asleep to watching the different types of fish on the screen, to I didn't like the elevator music anymore that goes with that. Like, I want to hear the water. So now I watch live rainforest. And to see the different images change. Last night I discovered one that was a New York high-rise, and it was a bedroom, and the whole bedroom was windows all around.
Wow.
And it was pouring down raining, and all you saw was the water hitting the windows. And the way that they had the image, you were laying on the bed and you were surrounded by windows. And that calms me and makes me forget. Like, it's just a reset for me.
That's dope. I think we both hit that one with the energy thing. It really do. You got to separate from it. And like you said, that peace comes to you and the answers come to you, and then you good after that.
You know, I wonder if people can relate that to success and jump on it, right? Because if you
that's why I made it an instant say, like, hey, we both actually just
that.
said
Because if you ever listen to the most successful people in the world, they either do yoga There's some type of spiritual healing that they go through, some type of spiritual retreat. They don't speak about necessarily God, but all of them will speak about something spiritual. And when you can't, I just said the other day, if you are a dreamer talker or a dreamer executor, because some people talk about spiritual cleansing and talk about their dreams and things that they want to do. There's people who actually execute, and the way you have to execute is to have a plan, and you have to be focused and tuned into yourself to have that plan work. So that involves energy. And so knowing yourself and dealing with the first hard thing is dealing with yourself. Because it's easy for us to block out who we are before we tune someone else out. So when you actually have to sit there and listen to your own thoughts, pay attention to your own actions, pay attention to how you spend your money, pay attention to how you spend your time, what you watch on your phone, and then you're like, oh crap, I've been telling other people not to do this, but I do it every day. You know, so once you handle your vices, I should say, then you tune into yourself and understand yourself more, the success will come because you're more focused on yourself and how you function in your life.
Any final words, shout outs, close outs, plugs, anything going on?
No, not that I can think of.
Me either. I think this was an amazing episode. You can follow us on our Instagram. That's Executive Insights _. Please stay inspired. Never stop creating. And be sure to subscribe. You're going to love next week's episode. The theme is going to be Keys to Success. So we're going to give you keys to success. See you next week.
I highly encourage you guys to share this with your friends because I feel like people are not sharing it.
Yeah.
We don't gatekeep over here, so we don't want y'all to gatekeep our episodes.
All right.
See ya.
Perfect. Well said.